to Modern Day High School. Born a Catholic, raised Catholic. Um, Still a Catholic, but not a practicing Catholic. I About a year and a half ago, I decided to kind of change up my life. Orange County just kind of seemed too cookie cutter for me. Uh, my life kind of was planned out. Right after college, I just came back home and I got a job that my parents' friends had hooked me up with. So I just took it because it was great. But that was just coming to an end, and where I wanted to be in my life. I wanted to progress myself beyond just being, in the situation. I wanted to be challenged. I wanted to grow as a person. I really wanted to feel different than what I had always been. And it culminated into, with interactions with Taoism, and that kind of came into my life and really presented itself as a way to think differently from a holistic standpoint, from a system standpoint, and just offered me a different mindset than what I've always been taught through my Catholic upbringing, and then just the bubble that Orange County is. On top of it, I went into acupuncture that offered me some different mindset. I at that point when I was presented with Taoism and acupuncture and all that stuff, I decided to quit my job and travel to Peru and work for an NGO helping families basically build cement flooring for families because they couldn't afford it. So it was like a microfinance type situation, which my dues helped pay for their pavement, and I'd actually do the actual laying of the cement and see their faces and go through that kind of that process. On top of helping out with like some volunteer efforts for surfing and stuff like that. But I spent about a month in Peru, came back, and kind of muddled in what I wanted to do next with my life. Took some part-time jobs for then, and then ended up moving down to San Diego in September, when my girlfriend basically told me, "Hey, I'm moving out with my parents. Do you want to join?" And I'm like, "All right." I had no job here. I had no connection. I had nothing. And it was a perfect opportunity for me to kind of stretch myself and see who I was as a person. And so I did that in September, and ever since then, I, got a job in beer making. I did urban farming for a little bit, and essentially focused myself on kind of where I want to go in my life, career-wise, as well as spiritually, to being working with in the environmental field, sustainability, really making myself an impact in that realm of the world. It kind of lends itself to my education, which is nice, but I'm currently in the process of finding an employment in that while still doing just like a software job just to hold me over for the time. And what kind of got me interested in the EvoRoom was the fact that you are for personal development, and I believe that although I did have these experiences outside of my comfort zone, I still need to grow as a person, and I feel like I'm always growing as a person, and I always need to be challenged, and I like a challenge because I never think that I'm where I'm going to be. Life is not a straight line. It's curves and backtracks and goes every which way. And things kind of present themselves. I really truly believe in that. And the EvoRoom just kind of presented itself randomly, and it just clicked with me. And I'm like, all right, that sounds cool. I'm going to try it out. So I signed up for the interview, and this is where we're at now.
That's pretty awesome, man. So thank you for sharing. It's really cool to hear about your journey, from Orange County going to Peru, and everything that you've encountered to get to the point where you are today. And it sounds like you've done, you're letting go and you're surrendering that was required of you in order in order to get to a space where you can start to call in the things that you really want out of life. And then, as you said, when calling in the personal development and the desire to grow and to really unfold your potential, and here comes the Evo Room. So really cool to hear that. What I'd like to hear from you at this point, Blake, is what's your desire? What do you want to create for yourself now in the near future, and also in the long term?
In the near future, what I really want to create is a really lasting relationship with my family and my close friends. I'm not the most extrovert person. I'm very friendly, and I have great personal skills, but I'm usually tend to stay reserved until I get to know someone. So I'd like to really just be more open and being able to strike up a conversation with random people and be able to find their interests, as well as create a better and lasting relationship with my family and my friends at the same time. And that's kind of the near future from a personal standpoint. From a career standpoint, just being able to actually I've already found my passion, but being actually to live it out one step at a time, and then hopefully in the future be able to really live and follow my passion and be able to financially hold myself while being spiritually fulfilled in my goal. Because that's, I'm still trying to find my purpose. I kind of have an idea of it, but it's still in development. So hopefully by these small next steps in the near future, that in the long term I'll be able to find that passion and really be at peace and with just a sense that there's something greater than just, I don't know, getting a job and buying materialistic things and a car and a house and having a 401k. I just don't believe in that stuff, and so I'm just trying to work towards getting something more than just that. I'm really trying to find that passion and that spiritual stuff within myself.
So when you were speaking about your passion, what in discovering what that is for you, do you have any inkling, or is there anything you're leaning towards that is calling to you as far as what that passion may be?
Yeah, I do actually. My educational background is in like environmental studies, economics, and politics. So I have like an interdisciplinary degree, and my father always was really big into the environment. We'd go to Yosemite. Like one memorable thing was we went to Yellowstone National Park. And I remember just being totally at awe at what was there, the scenery and everything. And that kind of fueled me into taking this degree and the knowledge that my dad taught me throughout the principles of caring for the earth and the gardening that he did and all the other stuff culminated into my degree that I took, and then to this point where I want to take that knowledge and that passion for the earth and the environment and apply that into sustainable design of cities, into buildings, infrastructure projects, in order to create a positive change, not just a negative and depletion type mentality that we tend to have in America, and kind of be at one with the earth and use relationships and understand patterns to work with nature, not against it. So yeah,
it's awesome.
It's coming together.
You sound pretty clear to me of like what it is that you potentially want to create in your life, and I think more just once that calling comes to you from the universe of what you need to do for your next mission, I'm sure that you'll jump on it right away. It sounds like you know where you're headed. It's just really getting that call and going from there. That's really cool.
Absolutely.
So at this point, I really have a good idea of kind of where you've come from, what you desire, and how that may play into the future and how that might unfold into the future. Now, my question to you would be, why the Evo Room? What's your interest, or what brings you here on this call today?
So the EvoRoom kind of presents itself through Facebook. So props on the good social media.
Thank you.
Ryan Ellis, who may have done it recently with EvoRoom, posted something. And Ryan Ellis went to the same college as I did. Is someone I try to emulate in some ways, unbeknownst to him. He's an entrepreneur. He's following his passion. He's going after something he really enjoys. So I've kind of, in a way, stalked him on what his life is, and then and when EvoRoom came up, I really was like, all right, I'll see what it's all about. I respect this guy. I kind of understand what he is. He has a lot of things that I want to see myself being. And so I looked at it and I said, and then saw that all I had to do was sign up for an interview and see where the process went. So I did it.
Nice, man. Cool. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ryan went to the last EvoRoom that we had on Saturday, and I'm sure you know about his organization, Charity Stone.
Yep.
So we brought them on board for this EvoRoom, and I remember just during the experience, he stood up and he was like, "This completely exceeded my expectations, and I want to support and do whatever I can for the EvoRoom." So it's really awesome to hear, how you perceive him, and then in turn his perception of what we brought into his world and the impact that we've made. And he was really happy with the results of how we presented Charity Stone and how we branded it within this experience. And I really love what he's doing, and that's what we're all about as the EvoRoom, is supporting people that want to bring themselves to their highest, not only for their own selfish reasons, but for the good of all and all of life. And I see Ryan as being one of those individuals, and so I'm going to do whatever I can to just support him and give him all the tools and resources he needs to grow.
Yeah,
Really,
that's great.
really cool, man. So I would love at this point, Blake, to answer any questions that you might have about the EvoRoom or anything for that matter.
Yeah. So what is the setup like? What's the curriculum? How is it set up? Is it like a weekend thing or is it just a day thing?
Well, we create physical experiences that can last anywhere from 9 hours to a whole weekend.
Okay.
And at the end of the year, we're also going to be doing a 7 to 10 day experience. So it ranges, and what it's based off of is what I alluded to earlier when I spoke into creating the experiences uniquely for the group of people that we select. And the importance behind that, again, is the relevance of the information and the content. So, but normally they generally run, from the thresholds is what we normally have once a month, and the threshold experience is basically an introduction into the EvoRoom. For those that have not had the experience before, it's a full day-long experience. Incorporates the 5 core categories that we like to train in, which is nutrition, relationships, emotional well-being, physical well-being, and career or profession. So those are what we believe the 5 core categories that exist in most people's lives. And so we want to train in each one of those, because if an individual does not have balance in either one of those, then usually it leads to some type of suffering. They could be making all the money in the world, having a great career, but if their connections and their relationships are shitty, then they're going to feel that, right? And if their nutrition isn't on point, then they're going to feel it in their physical well-being. So we see all those 5 things interconnected, so we train in those categories. So during a threshold experience, we bring in a master, or expert in that particular category that creates an EvoRoom experience. And by experience, we mean, not just the traditional way of like how school and academia, normally is delivered, which you have a teacher sitting at the front of the class, and then all the students sitting in their chairs in a fluorescent room and all of that. The way we deliver it is through experiences where not only the individual receives concepts, but also has experiences that they can feel what it's like to embody those concepts we're talking about. Because experience is the best teacher, So, so it's the form of education that I tune into much better. And I think our generation and generations after us also like the more entertaining, engaging, fun way to receive education and training. And that's what we really are just super good at. You know, we create these fun experiences, and you know, the fun isn't just because we like to have fun, but there's an actual purpose behind it, because we found through scientific, studies in quantum physics and psychology that when an individual is having fun in their play mode, their system, their body, their spirit is more conducive to growth, because their system is open. You're much more relaxed, and in relaxation and joy, your mind produces more pure positive thoughts. With more pure positive thoughts comes more pure positive actions, and of course, pure positive actions lead to amazing experiences, right? So our job is to bring people to that state of being through some really fun, intentional experiences that we create. Once we get people there, then we focus on connection, connection within that, getting an individual to connect with themselves, connect with the people around them, and connect with all of life. You spoke into it earlier. One thing that you would like to do is have better connections with your close friends and your family and the people that you love. Well, that seems to be the main desire amongst almost every human being that I've encountered that's come through the EvoRoom. The number one thing that they want most in their life is deeper, more loving connection. So we focus on that a lot in the Threshold experience, because connection is a source of power. When we feel supported and seen and valued for who we are through our community, it strengthens us, and we tap into our power, and we're able to do the things that we may not even imagine that we could do when we feel like we have the support around us. So we emphasize that a lot in the EvoRoom. So there's a lot of purpose behind what we do, but we just so happen to have what I believe people are really looking for in a world where there's a lot of challenge and stress. You know, it's a go-go type of culture. So we bring in the fun into play, which is an effective way to accelerate growth, and that's what we focus on, which is how can we get people to their highest potential faster than any other program or any other educational system that exists out there. And the reason why is because we're facing a lot of environmental issues, which I'm sure you know because you're in that space, and we don't have a lot of time before this Earth becomes an undesirable place to live. So, the next question is, how do we get to that place faster? How do we solve these problems? And I don't believe it's going to solve the problems themselves. I believe the problems are arising because of what the collective mentality is. The ego-driven, selfish-based type of culture has created this destruction in the world. And I believe the way that we can solve these problems is by each individual going within themselves, doing the personal growth, personal development, finding their true gift, and then shining that gift upon the world. So that is the super long-winded way to explain what the EvoRoom is and the program and how it's structured.
No, I really like that. That totally resonates with me. I mean, I'm totally about interdisciplinary and understanding the connections and how it all works, because despite, like you said, our culture is set up and how we've been taught and all that stuff, everything is connected. Everything is. And it's really trying to understand those synergies in order to come up with good solutions that work with where we got to go as opposed to against. And I really like that, and I really applaud you on your efforts to challenge the status quo with your education methodologies and stuff. I really appreciate it, and I would love to be a part of what you're doing in the EvoRoom, and I hope that I would get selected.
Thank you, Blake. Pretty clear, and I could really read into this. One of my gifts is my keen ability to see into people, see where their hearts and their heads are at. And another purpose of why we do the video interview, because I can feel more of your energy through, being able to visually see your expression as you speak and the tone of voice and, everything. So thank you for the acknowledgement and the applause. I really appreciate that. I wanted to speak into that. And, as far as what I picked up thus far, Blake, I love where your head is at. I love where your heart is. I love that you desire to make a difference in this world. and those are the type of individuals we want to bring into the Evo Room. And I'll share with you the bigger vision, which I've just recently started to share publicly, of what the Evo Room is in its bigger vision of what I'd like to see it do in the world, because I think it ties directly to you, because you seem to be the type of individual we're looking for when I'm talking about this bigger vision. So what that vision is that you have the elite forces for war that exist in the world, like the Army Rangers and the Navy SEALs, right? They're forces that go covertly into places around the world that are supposed to create peace, but through war, right? So what our aspiration is to create an elite force for good. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to create a 7 to 10 day experience at the end of this year, where we're going to invite 100 people to enjoy that experience. And the people that we're inviting to train and facilitate these experiences are iconic, high-profile individuals that are masters in the universe in their specific industry. So, for example, Richard Branson would facilitate an EvoRoom experience in leadership. We'd have LeBron James coming in to facilitate an EvoRoom experience in physical well-being. Beyonce to do an EvoRoom experience in self-expression through song and dance. So as you can see, like having these top-tier individuals who have reached the top of their game in what they do, training these 100 individuals, then afterwards we're going to be observing the performance of these individuals as they take these experiences and apply them out into the real world. Then based off their performance, we're going to select 8 to 10 of those individuals to create this elite force for good that we're talking about. And then our job is, as the Evo Room, to back missions that we create for this covert group by giving them, monetary resources and other resources to help them carry out, missions, if you will, to create more harmony, more love, and more joy in the world, but secretly through infiltrating, the current powers that be that limit, the potential of man. So in order to get to the 100 people, what we've been doing is creating these EvoRoom experiences to bring in individuals that we believe are those types that could be those 100 people. So we're training them, we're offering them information and experiences that are designed to see what they do with that and what type of impact in the world that they're going to make based off that information and experiences that we give to them. And I'm saying all of this to say is that I feel like, Blake, once you have an EvoRoom experiences, I'm very interested to see how you take that experience, apply it to your life, how that's going to ripple out to the people around you, and whether you own yourself, your power, your capability in this world, and what you do to turn around the things that are happening directly in your community first, and then seeing how that ripples out farther past that. Because then that'll tell me, okay, Blake is one of those guys that's ready to be invited to be one of those 100 people, to take his leadership, to take his gifts and his abilities to the next level, and should and will deserve that opportunity to play and be trained by some of the best in the world.
That's awesome. That is amazing. That sounds really cool, man. That's a good vision.
I'm saying this to you is because I'd like to know from your perspective, knowing who you are and what you aspire to do, would you see yourself as one of those individuals standing as one of those 100?
Absolutely. I mean, I've already looked at Richard Branson. I've looked at Steve Jobs, and I read their biographies and try to understand what they do, how they work, how they think, because they think totally different than everyone else in the world. You know what I mean? Their attitude about life is just at a different frequency than most individuals, and I want to tap into that, and I really want to understand that. You know, that's been a recent thing actually that's kind of come up into my life, and just really trying to facilitate what they've done and incorporate into my life. You know, the hardest part is where do I start? and what I think is I think the Evo Room is that starting point, that jump, that launch pad, and to get me to that point, to understand leadership, nutrition, and understand connections, and being able to integrate it all into making it a difference.
Beautiful, man. And I feel like, and I'm sensing from you, that you have such a deep desire to learn and to grow, that, and not only that, that's obviously a great thing because we want to offer the experiences to people that are ready to receive them, right, and take them. But I also believe that you're the type of person that would turn around and then have a really deep desire to share that with people around you. You know, like you would take this information not just for yourself, but also turn around and want to pay it forward and share it with others to watch others unfold their potential around you.
Absolutely. I've actually been, a lot of my family and friends always get annoyed by how much I talk about, oh, you could do this, but look at this, all this knowledge. They call me Dr. Koss because I'm always talking about facts and different stuff to help people out.
Thanks. That's wonderful, man. I feel really good, you know, about you, Blake. So here's where we go from here. So we got a couple experiences that we're creating. The next one coming up at the end of this month, which is called the Elevation Experience, which is a weekend-long Friday afternoon to Sunday afternoon experience. And the core focus that we will have for this weekend is leadership. So what I'd like to do at this point is that undergoing the selection process right now. I'm doing these interviews, and as we get to 10 or so or 11 or so people, we're going to start the selection process. And the selection process will be based off exactly what I mentioned earlier, which is which group of people are most likely to be the most conducive to growth through their connection with each other. What is their intention, what's their desire, and figuring out which individuals to match the best in order to create the most impactful experience for all. So I'd like to take a couple of days, have more interviews, and then from that, give you a call, Blake, and let you know if we'd like to invite you into the elevation experience or the experience that we're having thereafter. How's that sound?
Sounds good to me.
Beautiful, man. And is there any other questions I could answer for you?
Nope. It's our 30-minute mark, so I'm good.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much, Blake, again for sharing yourself and just being open with who you are and what you want to do in the world. I commend you for your desire to want to do something different as well, and also make a contribution to the world that will just create positive ripples. So it's just always refreshing to have these type of conversations and to know that people are out there that have that desire. So I thank you, Blake, from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Cool, Blake. Enjoy the rest of this beautiful day, and we shall be in contact really soon, brother.
Thank you. You too.
All right, thanks. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.